With the integration of NBN23 technology, RYZE Hoops events figure to take on a whole new experience. I'm Cory McCartney, and here to discuss NBN23's Rafa Vidaurreta and RYZE Hoops Carter Wilson. Welcome into both of you.
Thanks, Cory.
Thank you, Carter. Thank you, Cory and Carter, for having me. It's a pleasure being here, guys.
Absolutely. Now, Rafa, NBN23's technology, you've been able to take the data that drives basketball and deliver it and store it digitally. How has the company been able to create a footprint in basketball and do so globally?
Well, I mean, it's something that we started 4 years ago. We started with the notion, basically an idea. You know, we're a bunch of basketball freaks, if you will. You know, we love data, we love basketball, and everything started from a basic idea of providing advanced reports on data, right, for grassroots programs in general, because we felt there was that need. And then when we sat down and started shaping up our idea, we realized that there really wasn't any data available at all. I mean, you guys are younger than I am, but I remember when I was playing as a kid, I was lucky enough to have the name of my school and on the local newspaper with a final result, if that. And that was amazing, right? So it's sad to understand that and to realize that even in the 21st century, we're still doing things with the pen and paper. And that's partly because, only sports like professional sports or semi-professional have the means to be able to gather that much data. But now so we developed this software solution that it's very scalable and affordable, and it will allow us to capture every piece of information from any basketball game at any level with very little effort.
The Swish app specifically will be utilized in RYZE Hoops events. How does that work, and what will be coming out of this?
Right. Well, I mean, I think it's, we've been, like I said, we've been working for 4 years. We partner with the NBA, with the junior NBA regionals. We've been working with them for over 4 years to provide live stats for each basketball game. And you know how difficult it is to be able to gather that much information when you have a court like the one at Lake Point, with 12 courts and back-to-back games every day of the weekend. In that sense, every single piece of information is collected by the scorekeeper, just like as if they were filling out a paper score sheet, but instead of a paper and a pen and paper, they will be holding a tablet. The process is very simple, and it becomes kind of like a video game, if you will. And once that information is being collected by the scorekeeper, all that information, and this is what the fans really care about, because they're not going to be part of any of that. It's just going to be the operator doing that hard work, if you will. The fans, what they're going to see is a tremendous amount of detail for every basketball game, with aggregated stats where for each kid, especially throughout the years, having an archive of cumulative stats of your kid or even of your players as they grow through the years within the organization. I think it's going to be a game changer. Honestly, I don't think people are ready. In our experience, once you provide that to the fans, it's an incredible experience, because they don't expect to be able to have that much information in the palm of their hands. And to answer your question, with the Swish app, they'll be able to do that. They'll be able to have access to schedule, final results. If you go into more details, you can find the box scores, shooting charts, shot charts, comparison, player profiles, everything you can possibly imagine that you're used to seeing at an NBA game or NCAA. You'll be able to see it, for RYZE Hoops games.
Carter, it certainly sounds exciting to have all that data at your fingertips. What do you think, from your perspective, that players, coaches, and even college recruiters can expect as this becomes integrated within RYZE Hoops events?
I think it's huge across the board. I mean, everything now is digitalized, and I feel like in grassroots basketball, we've kind of fallen behind. Like, we still kind of do everything the same old way. It goes back to like the way that things have always been done. But this kind of takes it to another level. I mean, players and coaches, I mean, you can literally get analysis on what you're doing, what you did well, what you need to improve on. From a parents and fans perspective, I mean, you can be off site if you're in a different state, if you're in a different city. You can follow along in real time, like as games are going. Nowhere else has been able to do that. I mean, if you're a college coach, you can do the same thing. Say you have a player that's committed to your program for the next recruiting class. I mean, you can kind of follow along with exactly what they're doing as they're doing it. So I mean, it gives a whole new capability that you don't really see too much in grassroots basketball. But like, as Rafa said, it's a total game changer across the board for everybody. I mean, it just gives everybody that much more access to the event. If they're there, it gives them even more access. If they're not there, it can give them access. I mean, it's just a win across the board.
Rafa, you mentioned it a little bit, but certainly this is going to elevate the in-game experience. But it happens before, during, and I think the key element there is after the events. That this will still be something that can elevate it for those who are taking advantage.
Of course, 100%. I mean, like I said, you know, when you have tremendous amounts of games back to back during the year, during the weekend, you know, your paper score sheet starts stacking up. You know, how do you send that information? How do you send it? How do you share that with your customers, with your players, coaches, parents, friends, you know, people just interested overall in what you guys, you know, what the operator is doing. So it really takes a lot of responsibilities away from the organizer, in a sense that there's no after the fact work. After each game, all results are uploaded automatically. As I said, information is being able to see. It will be seen live as the games are happening, and I don't think it could have come at a better time, considering restrictions that we're all under right now. You know, some parents may not feel comfortable being at the facility watching games, sitting next to other people, because we all have different ways of living through the pandemic. So I think it's a great initiative. You know, I'm really excited for this partnership because you know, it's going to add tremendous value to the organization, and it's really a differentiator.
Carter, we know analytics have become they're so commonplace in baseball. It's getting that way in basketball. But from that end, how do you think this is going to benefit in player evaluation?
I think it's huge. I mean, as RYZE Hoops, it's kind of our job to provide the best platform we can for players to be the best version of themselves. And I think this just helps that even more. I mean, when you can go back and you can literally look at your performance from shot charts to box scores to everything, and then you combine that with everything else that we can offer, I mean, you can literally go back and correct it game by game. Like, you don't even have to wait a day. You can just inter-day, like if you're playing more than one game, you can go back right there and kind of fix a mistake. You know, hey, we want you to do more of this and less of this. I mean, we're going to like where coaches don't want you to take long twos or want you to take more threes. It's either three or at the basket, like whatever a philosophy is, like you can kind of fix it right there because you can see it in real time. So, I mean, in order just to give players the ability to be the best version of themselves, this helps that even more. And like you said, in analytics, it's getting a little crazy, and I think it's going to keep trending that way. So this is only going to help that.
Well, NBN23 coming soon to RYZE Hoops. For more information, go to NBN23.com or follow them on Instagram at NBN23Basket or Twitter at NBN23_EN. Rafa, Carter, thanks for the time.
Thanks, Cory.
Thanks, Cory.